KFI, Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, and it's a glorious Monday. Well, not actually. I really don't like Mondays. Rainy days and Mondays always get me down. You know how it is. You go through the weekend, and it's like gone, just like that, just like that. Next thing you know, like you go home from work Friday, and you wake up and it's Monday morning, you think, what the hell happened to my weekend? It's one of those really, really quick weekends where I can't account for it. It's not like I was having a great time or doing a lot of things. It just, Monday came way too fast. Way too fast. But, hey, Stefan, first, good evening. Do you remember when I said to you, I need you to make sure we're recording this, and you said, we'll put it on the podcast. It'll be on the podcast regarding Diddy and promising that other accusers would be coming forward. I think it was maybe Thursday.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, I said, you can guarantee it. You can bank on it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Mark, good evening. You remember when I said that, right?
In fact, I do.
Okay, Twala, I know you remember.
Absolutely.
Okay, because I thought it was only appropriate we then start with this story that more accusers have come forward accusing Sean Diddy Combs of assault, sexual assault, and rape spanning 2 decades. 6 complaints were filed in the Southern District of New York on behalf of 4 males and 2 females. Their names were not given. The incidents alleged in the complaints span from 1995 to 2021 and include allegations of sexual assault and rape. Among the accusers is a man who was a minor at the time of the alleged incident, 16 years old, and a woman who was a 19-year-old college student when she alleges Combs raped her in a Manhattan hotel room back in 2004. And if you're wondering, like, well, why is it that they're able to file this type of complaint, the civil suit now? Well, this is being filed under the Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Act. And under this law, the victims have a 2-year window ending in March 2025 to file these older claims. Here comes my next prediction. We know, and this is why it's important, we know that the Fed's criminal side are working with the Fed's civil side, sharing information and sharing testimony. Cassie Ventura, who originally filed a civil suit, her testimony, her evidence was also used in the criminal charges against Diddy, the original criminal charges. These lawsuits and the others will be used, the testimony, any evidence that they can bring forward, which could be useful in a current complaint, possibly to show pattern, will be used by the criminal side. If you wrongly think that the civil suits have no bearing on the criminal, well, let me disabuse you of that notion. Since they are sharing evidence and sharing testimony, here's the next prediction. I hope they're listening. Are you rolling tape on this? Because I love being right all the time.
Yeah, it's going to be on the podcast for sure.
All right. There will be a superseding criminal indictment. In other words, added charges, which will be inclusive of this information submitted today and also last week. You will find new charges which are either indirectly or directly connected to these new lawsuits because they are sharing all the information. And let me just say it again. You think we're done? Oh, please don't think they're done. There are going to be more people coming forward, and 2 people and 2 more people and so on and so on. Why? Because now people feel safe enough to do so. What does this mean for Sean Diddy Combs? It means that he will be crushed under the weight of all these suits. He will not be able to get out from under them. And that's assuming that he's not in prison for the rest of his life. And since, as I've told you, that the superseding indictment is all but a foregone conclusion from where I sit, even if he were to get past all the criminal stuff, the civil stuff is going to bury him as well. He's probably in the worst possible situation that he could be in, because it's going to get worse before it gets better. There will be more accusers coming forward. There will be more civil lawsuits. There will be other criminal charges. And this is just October. Be more in November. I'm telling you, because his activities were such an open secret. There's so much more out there. The difference is the laws have been changed, which allow for the civil suits and also the criminal division working hand in hand with the civil division. That's why we even got to this part, and we will continue down this path because more revelations will be made. And also, we're in the age of new media, the internet, camera phones. There's all sorts of documentary and photographic and video evidence out there to corroborate what people are saying. For example, and I'm just saying hypothetically, in this lawsuit today, they said X, Y, and Z happened on December 25th, 2010. Oh, in his Manhattan apartment. Oh, we have a video from that night, which they obtained in the previous raid. They would be able to corroborate some of these claims. That's why the civil can impact the criminal. Oh, it's going to get way worse. Twala, I seem to remember predicting that this was going to happen. It boggles my mind. They won't take me seriously.
You know why? Because there are individuals who, for some reason or other, think celebrity or wealth can save you from the law. There are individuals that think because his celebrity and wealth are the reasons he is being, quote unquote, targeted, as if he hasn't committed any crimes. And as you all say, I don't care if he's committed all 250 that are out there now. It's just the one we know. We know for a fact that he assaulted Cassie. Shouldn't that be enough? Shouldn't that be enough to create all types of reasonable doubt for any excuses he may have? But there are some who think and assign wealth and celebrity with being above the law. That's why they doubt you.
Well, I will say this. Wealth and celebrity probably has protected him for so very long. I would say his wealth and celebrity equaling arrogance is now what has put him in jeopardy, because if he, as in Diddy, did not videotape all these parties, there's nothing probably to tie him to anything.
What is that saying? Is it pride comes before the fall?
Well, yeah, but also I always say don't film your crimes. Make it a little bit more difficult. Make it difficult for someone to, don't tell on yourself. I'm not trying to condone what he's done. I'm just saying, if he doesn't have these videotapes, what is there tying him to any of this? If we don't see the video of Cassie being beaten in the hotel lobby area by the elevator, what changes about that story? Other than it's just, well, here's her account and there's his account. She's just out for money. Oh, then you see the video. Everything changed. There are going to be other videos. There are going to be other accusers. There are going to be other charges. It's later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And you know me, I'm not big on talking about climate change. I leave that for the next generation, because whatever's going to happen to this world is it's not going to be anything that I can control, but there are some stories we do want to talk about. UC San Diego has added climate change as a course requirement. That is the subject we're supposed to talk about when we come back. But in preparing for this subject, I pulled a bumper and then it reminded me of something else. And then I promise you there will be a diversion when we come back. It'll make sense when we come back. I promise you. Okay? And it's connected to the Brady Bunch. Huh? Yes, the Brady Bunch.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
I'm really going to take you behind the curtain at Oz right now. Mark Ronner, you may get a kick out of this. Okay, I was going to do this story about climate change and how it's going to be a required course at UC San Diego starting this year. Okay? So I thought I would pick a witty bumper talking about change. I ended up on that change song from the Brady Bunch where Peter is having his voice crack, time to change. Okay? That was the genesis of all this. Then started thinking about the Brady Bunch and a question I always get in general. Whenever I do any public speaking, someone will ask me, like, who was the best interview you ever had? Who was your favorite interview? They always ask me that. They never ask me who was the worst interview. Okay, let me tie it all together. There was one time I interviewed a cast member of the Brady Bunch. She obviously did not want to be there. It was her and some other person in the interview. It was a package deal. They were doing like a retro drag show at the Brady house. And so long story short, Jan Brady was the guest, Eve Plum. She did not want to be in the interview. She was not, I don't know. And people have bad days. People sometimes are tired. I get that. I remember I interviewed a music star, and I thought it was a bad interview. Then I found out later that she was more preoccupied with her father being in a hospital. So I leave room for that. We're all people. But it was borderline disrespectful. And all I can say is, yeah, Eve Plum takes the cake. And it's true. Look, if you didn't want to come on, don't come on. And if you are going to come on, well, you've already committed the time. You might as well act like you're enthusiastic about why you're here. And so if I had to choose one interview where I think it's the worst ever, it would be Eve Plum. And I can say this knowing good and well that she's not ever going to come back on the show anyhow. Not for her wanting to come on, and not for me wanting to come on. So I'm not burning any bridges. All I can do is play the best part of the interview. This was the only thing in that interview which was worth anything. And I'm also joined by Eve Plum, Jan Brady herself. Jan. Eve, thank you so much for coming on. How are you doing?
Doing good, thank you.
Eve, I got to start with you. Why has the Brady Bunch endured for more than 50 years?
Well, I think it's because it was just really simple, understandable stories told very well, and little problems and big problems solved in a half hour.
Did they solve the problems, or did they make America feel better about itself, do you think?
Well, if you solved a problem, don't you feel better about yourself?
That's all I got. There's nothing redeeming about that interview beyond that. There's nothing else.
Really? That wasn't so bad. I was expecting much worse.
No, there is much worse. Well,
like, how bad did it get?
It's just long pauses and uncomfortable silence and 6-word answers. And
yeah, that's my favorite. Like the late Jerry Lewis style of interview where you ask a big wind up of a question, right, and then he gives you a 1-syllable answer. And it's clear that he despises you and doesn't want to be doing what he's doing.
Does not want to be there. And I'm not going to pile on. So I'm not going to play the whole interview. I'm just saying I plan to talk about climate change at UC San Diego. I got that bumper, thought it was witty, talking about change, Peter Brady. Then it got me thinking about Eve Plum. And so here we are. Do you have a worst?
Several. Yeah. Because I honestly think that getting to a certain level of fame drives a lot of people insane. And I'm not joking. Not everybody is cut out to handle fame, and especially the PR that goes along with fame and promoting what your latest project is. And so they act like Caligula once they get up to a certain level. Wow. So like I had a pretty awkward interview with Mel Gibson until I started talking about Patrick McGowan being in Braveheart, and then he perked up, but he clearly didn't want to be there. It breaks my heart to tell you that I had a terrible interview with John Carpenter because I absolutely love and worship him, but he didn't want to be there. It was about some Snake Plissken comic book that came out a number of years ago. David Caruso, I thought he might swing on me because I mentioned that he was the first person to show his pasty white ass on TV, and he turns to me and he goes, "What, you think it's pasty?"
That's what he zeroed in on?
Yeah. So there, sometimes they're just not into it and they don't have a sense of humor. And you, as the interviewer, have to roll with that and take control.
Twala, do you remember when we had Elliot Gould in studio?
Yes.
And I pissed him off with something I said. And I thought it was the first segment. I said, "Oh, this may not end well."
Yeah.
He corrected me on something. Like he thought I said something or I mischaracterized what he said. And he really took umbrage at it. I have to go find the clip. And I said, "Oh, we're going down. We're going down tonight."
Oh, I got to hear this.
The Eve Plum wasn't as dry as the Vanessa Bell Calloway.
That's it.
That's the one, man.
Vanessa Bell Calloway. She was evidently getting groceries out of the car or something while she was talking to me. I don't remember what the project was, but she was completely and utterly distracted. You hear the chirp of the car and closing the hatchback, and you hear the dogs barking in the background. She's walking in the house, the jingling of the keys. And I want to say that, do you want to call me back? I mean, because it wasn't like she was giving me great sound. Now, I'll give you another extreme where that can be very funny. I was speaking to Robert Davi, and he was in like a grocery store or something.
Yeah, that was funny.
And he called in, and you could tell he was at the checkout counter. You know, boop, boop. And I said, Robert, I appreciate you calling in. You want to just call back in maybe next segment? Because we were talking about his Sinatra record or something like that.
Yeah.
And he clearly was in the middle of doing shopping. But it was lighthearted. It was fun. He was still in the conversation.
And he was, I remember, because he was like, no. I got to do this. Like, this is important to me. I'm a fan of the show. And he really like honed in when you started talking politics with him. Yeah. He was a whole nother guy. Yeah. Like, he loved it.
People are so like, Mo, you spoke to Robert Davi? Of course I did. He's like a friend of the show. He's had me on like 3 times.
Yeah.
Oh, and also talked about Politicon. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's weird when people hear an interview go off well. We're all surprised. Trust me, we're all surprised because there's so many things which can go wrong, will go wrong. You may have an interviewee who is in a bad mood, disinterested, or has a preconceived notion about you, the interviewer, or the outlet in which you work. Because a lot of times we'll like if we're either at Politicon or we're trying to get guests, and we say KFI AM 640, number one news talk station in America, to say KFI? Question mark. That we know KFI and all that it signifies. It works both ways. And another question I usually get is, why don't you have so and so on? Well, so and so has to agree to come on. I can ask. It doesn't mean the person's going to come on. We've asked people for years. Like, for example, Eddie Murphy. I've been asking him for the past 15 years. I can't get past the gatekeeper, Arnold Robinson. Every time I send him an email, he'll send me an email back inside of 10 minutes saying Eddie's unavailable every single time. But I didn't even tell you when the interview would be. I didn't even give you a prospective day, month, year. Eddie's not available.
It's not a when. It's to you.
In perpetuity.
Yeah.
And yes, I take it personally. And I won't call out who it is, Alan Nerob. But every time I send them an email to Alan Nerob or Arnold Robinson, whoever their clients are, they're unavailable.
You just get a little bit bigger and they'll start saying yes. You're almost there. You're close.
No, it's part of it because there are people who won't do radio interviews, period. It's not worth taking back to their client because either their client's going to say no or they're saying no on behalf of their client. And I get it. The publicist is supposed to be the bad guy or the bad woman, not the artist.
Well, if you listen to especially comedians complain about this kind of thing, the worst of all time are these morning zoo interviews that they have to endure. And I don't think they can all differentiate. Oh, it's another radio interview. It's the same thing. Whereas what you're doing on the show in the evenings is clearly a universe different than that.
Yeah. Some people get it. Some people who listen to talk radio are not like that. Jay Leno, he listens to talk radio. He does radio interviews. He's come on with us. Obviously, he's been on with Conway a dozen times. He gets it. But there are a lot of people of Jay's stature and above where they will not do radio interviews no matter what. So when people say, why don't you have so-and-so on? Because I can't control that. You have to go hat in your hand and beg many times. It's like, oh, please, will you come on the show? We just love you. We promise we're not going to ask you anything political. We won't ask you anything personal. We won't ask about that time you got arrested. All we want is 7 minutes. You have to grovel to a certain extent. And so the interviewee feels comfortable. And then after you get that person on the phone or in studio, you have to try to develop a rapport with him or her in 3 minutes. We try to do it before the conversation starts so they feel comfortable enough to start opening up. It's not magic. It's a lot of work. So that was the Eve Plum story and Vanessa Bell Calloway. I had forgotten about that. Oh, I don't know why you reminded me of that one. Oh yeah. We call names here. We call names. It's later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640 live. And and UCSG, they have climate change as a course requirement now.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Let's talk about the cities where you're most likely to get sick. The 10 most sickest, illest cities in the U.S. And this is according to Salient Health. And it doesn't matter the criteria. Germs, bacteria, whatever. You're going to get sick in these cities. Mark Ronner, we pulled this list especially for you.
Why is that?
Because you are very, very concerned about not getting sick.
Well, I'm rational.
No, this is to protect you.
Thank you.
So do not go to these cities. Coming in at number 10. Mark Runner, do not go to Sacramento.
I hadn't planned to.
Okay.
Avoiding SAC.
Yes. I don't even have to say it. I don't have to say it, right?
What?
Had to make it weird.
I'm just following your lead. I don't have to say that. Okay.
Number
please
9.
Proceed. Yes.
Baltimore is the 9th sickest city in the U.S.
Oh, no. I went to a movie convention there once, and they had a crying room in the theater for the kids. Baltimore's a great city.
No, Baltimore is a great city. You're just liable to get sick.
Okay.
2 things can be true. Coming in at number 8 of the 10 sickest cities in the United States. Augusta, Georgia.
Was your source Marjorie Taylor Greene? What's the basis for this?
It's cold and flu season. That's the basis of this.
Okie doke. Also, that's where they film all the Walking Dead episodes.
Number 7. Memphis, Tennessee.
No.
Yeah, I'm sensing a theme here, generally. Sacramento is not in the South, but it's very rural. If you've ever been to Sacramento, it's very rural.
I see.
Yes, it is. Coming in at number 6. Nolens, Louisiana. I'm sensing a theme here.
It's almost like the pattern is becoming self-evident.
Yes, it is. Coming in at number 5 of the 10 sickest cities in the United States for cold and flu season. Now, you can't have a worse list and not have somewhere from Mississippi on it. Jackson, Mississippi comes in at number 5.
It's all taking shape.
Number 4. Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. New York.
Well, it is crowded there.
Yeah, have you been to Manhattan in the summer?
Yes.
Oh, the heat is oppressive. The smell of the trash is awful.
I was up for a job there right out of grad school. Actually, before I moved to Seattle, I was up for a job with Comedy Central there. I cannot tell you how relieved I was when at the end of the process, they were like, no, we're not hiring writers for this writing job. I was terrified of having to live in New York in something the size of a closet.
Yeah, there is nothing for me which would be redeeming about living in New York. The longest I've stayed there was 3 weeks working with the Grammys, and the Grammys when it was in New York at Radio City Music Hall. It's nice place to visit. Would never, ever want to live there under any circumstance. You don't have any of the benefits of California from weather or decent beaches or attractions. I don't get it. And they say like, well, we don't have the traffic like you do in California. Yeah, but it's a crowded city. Everyone's on top of each other. I mean, really on top of each other.
It's so crowded, they don't have room for traffic.
Got a point. Coming in at number 3 of the sickest cities in the United States. And this one surprised me. This must be because of one event. Comic-Con. San Diego's number 3.
Oh, absolutely.
It's got to be connected to that.
Oh,
absolutely.
People got con crud even before the pandemic.
Yeah.
You're guaranteed to get sick there.
That has to be the only reason. Number 2. Fresno.
Fresno.
And coming in at number 1, the sickest city in America for this cold and flu season. Just to let you know, Soliant Health studied the 100 most populous cities in the United States to determine where people are most likely to get sick, evaluating air quality, asthma rates, seasonal pollen allergies, cold and influenza activity. This is number 1. All right. You ready? Any guesses? Any guesses?
I'll guess Chicago.
I'd say Oakland.
Stefan?
Texas.
Cities.
Dallas. Sorry.
The city of Texas is horribly sick.
It's okay, Foosh. I know what you mean.
Bakersfield.
Wait, what?
Bakersfield.
That's fine.
It's a surprise to me, too, because I don't think of Bakersfield as all that populous. And I think a part of getting sick is densely populated cities.
Maybe they're just germy there.
I guess they don't wash their hands.
Oh.
Kevin McCarthy is a massive carrier.
Kevin has not had a good year, okay?
No.
Let's not put more on him.
I guess we're piling on, aren't we?
Yes. Oh, he's another one we're trying to get on the show. He would never return not one email, call, nothing.
No, I don't.
Never respond.
Oh, he'll get desperate soon enough.
No, I'm just saying. He's a perfect example of someone we would love to have on the show. Never responded. So he's not going to get anything nice now, you know.
Oh, well.
Whew. Texas?
Leave Foosh alone. Foosh, I know. Look, Foosh, I understand. Spur of the moment is fast thinking, and I know you had Dallas in your mind, but you just said Texas. It's okay.
Yeah, but it's like San Antonio, Corpus Christi, El Paso, Houston, Austin.
I don't think scrolling down the list of names of cities is going to make him feel like we're not busting on him.
Oh, but we are. We are.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He earned that one.
Okay.
Give yourself a rim shot.
Fair enough.
Stefan.
Oh, God.
He earned it. No. We'll wait. We got time. It's later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640. We are live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, and we have some good news for you on the other side of the break. Doritos is coming to L.A. in restaurant form. We'll tell you about it next.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Doritos is bringing its first ever restaurant to L.A. It's called Doritos After Dark. And it was introduced Friday at Crypto.com Arena, or as I call it, Staples Center. And it's not just chips, which will be available. The location will serve everything from margaritas and veggie dumplings, that doesn't sound good, to ice cream and California rolls. How does that fit together? Is that supposed to be like a cuisine or something?
Anything is better if it tastes like Doritos. I found some Doritos, like nacho cheese Doritos flavored popcorn a few weeks ago, and I told you about it. Nothing could have pleased me more.
Maybe I'm just old because Doritos do not appeal to me like that. We have a literal drawer full of free Doritos, and I've never had any of them.
Well, it's disgusting at the same time that it's delicious.
I don't like the powder on my hands or anything.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. When you pause to consider how much of our lives are influenced by flavored powder, it's pretty sobering.
Quote, when we take Doritos chips out of the bag and put the distinctive chip into recipes, the culinary possibilities are endless. This is according to Frito-Lay culinary senior principal scientist. That's the job? Culinary senior principal scientist.
Oh, they're serious.
Chef Wiley Bates.
That's a fake name.
Can't be real. It's a fake name. It's a fake job, fake title.
This isn't real.
The Doritos brand is known for pushing boundaries and paving new paths. The food and alcoholic beverages offered at the new Doritos After Dark restaurant were created with the consumer in mind and take delicious fan favorites up a notch with the boldness and flair only Doritos flavors can deliver. Now, this is basically a munchy spot for people who are high.
Now, I know you want to mock this because it's trashy, but I'll tell you that I interviewed some sort of master sommelier once, and just to throw him off, I thought I was being a wise ass. I asked him, tell me, what wine would you pair with a nacho cheese Dorito? He actually took a moment to give it some thought, and his answer was a Merlot.
Ooh.
A Merlot.
Wow.
I like Merlot. I would never have it with Doritos.
Well, he's the expert. Who am I supposed to believe?
Please. Elitists, not listening to experts.
Well, you're right. Okay.
Okay, listen to this menu. Doritos Flamin' Hot Limon Late Night Rita. A classic tequila margarita, but with a Doritos Flamin' Hot Limon rim. No.
So
I'm not drinking anything with rim in it.
So they're just rubbing Doritos around the rim of a cup? Yes. And they want you to lick the rim?
Right.
Don't lick the
Right.
rim.
They want you to lick the rim and get the flavor?
I don't do that. I don't do that.
What are you doing?
I'm just
That's what it says.
That's what it says, Mark. I am not making this up. It's the hot limon rim.
You're trying to get me fired is what you're trying to do.
No.
You have to
Twala, am I lying?
No, it says that it's literally the flavors on the rim. The only way to get it is to taste the rim.
Well, such is life, isn't it?
Doritos Spicy Sweet Chili Ramen Rito. A burrito consisting of grilled chicken, oodles of ramen noodles, crushed spicy sweet chili Doritos, charred corn, scallions, and cilantro in a flour tortilla.
God, that sounds horrible.
It does. It really does.
I'd try it.
Doritos Flamin' Hot Nacho Veggie Dumplings. This just sounds just abysmal. Pan-fried dumplings, which is fine. Filled with vegetables, that's fine. And a Flamin' Hot Nacho Chili Crisp. No.
I see you pairing it with the Bloody Mary. That might work. Some of this stuff is a little off.
Oh, this has to go with liquor. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
None of this is good by itself. Doritos Nacho Cheese Texas Style Loaded Nachos. Now, this sounds like something I would eat.
Yeah, now you're talking.
Nachos with brisket, barbecue sauce, nacho cheese, sliced pickles, and sweet onions on top of nacho cheese Doritos. It's a little bit much, but I could deal with that. And something sweet. Doritos Nacho Cheese Crunch-tastic Vanilla Cone. Vanilla ice cream on a waffle cone, dipped in milk chocolate, and rolled in nacho cheese Doritos chip crunchers. Oh, come on.
Oh,
Maybe if you were on a plane that crashed in the Andes and it was either that or the leg of your teammate.
Yeah, I think they call that Alive.
Yeah.
Or their Donner Party, one of the two.
Yeah, but honestly, let's just be straight with each other. When you heard that Taco Bell was going to start making tacos out of nacho cheese Doritos, didn't you think, give these people a Nobel Prize?
I thought that.
I didn't think that. I thought that it had potential, had possibility.
Oh, that was genius.
Yeah, and I think that's what put him back on the map, because ever since then they've just been coming up with even more crazy stuff.
It was a natural marriage. It just made sense. You're going to do taco shells, whatever, Doritos. Yeah. You know
what's crazy is their Nacho Bel Grandes have not incorporated Doritos chips yet. I don't know why.
It might be a licensing thing.
Heads need to roll for this. It just goes to follow that you would do that.
There are limitations. The Doritos After Dark restaurant experience is only available to ticketed guests at Staples Center. I'm not calling it Crypto.com. During scheduled events. That said, the public will have the chance to try the Doritos for one night only when the restaurant steps out of the arena and into Peacock Place in downtown LA for a pop-up experience. All righty. There you go. Is anyone going to try it? Is anyone going to go down to crypto.com/Staples Center?
No, that's the irony of this. Only rich people get to try this trashy Doritos new food.
Yeah, I'm not going to go to a venue just for a food item. If I'm going to a venue, I'm going for the performance or the game or the event. But I'm not going for food. Food is an added attraction, not the reason to go. And if I have to go there for this, no. Mm-mm. Nope.
I mean, because that's parking, that's walking through the unhoused homelessville that surrounds the Staples Center. It's a whole lot that you have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I went down there to go ice skating, there was like feces on the corners. We had to step around it to get over to the ice skate. I was like, I'm not coming back down to Staples Center anymore. It's gone to hell.
Hey, Mark, since Twala doesn't drink, I'll ask you this question. I think we covered it, but I don't remember. Do you remember back in 2023 when Doritos introduced a nacho cheese flavored liquor?
I sure do. I didn't buy any, but I was curious about it.
Wait, you're serious right now?
I'm being serious.
They introduced a
Nacho cheese flavored liquor. Not liquor, but liquor. There's a difference.
I think we should have seen if we could have gotten some sent here as a promotional item so that we tried it on the air and had our reactions. I think our reactions would have involved gagging sounds, but I still would have tried it.
Oh, speaking of gagging sounds, I remember one other story of a celebrity, another celebrity who will never be on this show. Twala, take it away.
Vivica Fox. Vivica Fox will never grace this show. She was so stank with her attitude at Comic-Con.
Yep.
I now and forevermore will associate her with Comic-Con filth.
She had us running around all of Gaslamp. I'm going to be at this hotel. Okay, well, I'm going to be over here. And you can't move around Comic-Con and Gaslamp quickly. And we walked for a good hour and a half, no exaggeration, trying to find her.
And then in the end, she said, never mind, I don't want to do it.
What?
Yeah.
No
in the
exaggeration.
end, it's all right. It's too late. I don't want to do it anymore. Whatever. It's like to the point where it's like, lady, if you were on fire, I would not spare urine to put you out.
Not cool at all.
Remember Rampage Jackson?
That was funny. That was funny.
He's another one who won't get on this show.
I think he wanted to fight you or something. It was crazy.
He was mad at me.
Yes.
Because I had the audacity to ask him to come on the show or something. Like he didn't get it. But it's like it was at WonderCon. It's like, You're at WonderCon. People are going to ask you for interviews. Why are you getting offended because people are asking you to come on the show?
Yeah.
Well, see, the satisfaction you can have now is that people's careers go up and down and they don't last very long. Now I bet Vivica A. Fox would love the chance to be on your show.
She won't get it. She can beg. I wouldn't give it to her.
There we go.
Take that however you want.
No, I like that.
You like it.
Yeah.
Say my name, Vivica.
Yes.
Say my name. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Heard any of our secret mind control hidden messages recently? No? That's because we're really good at it.
KFI
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live.